I'd like to welcome everyone at the New York yartzeit for Rav Binyamin Zeev and Kahane, Hashem Yikom Damam. Particularly, I'd like to thank Gennady and Jonathan and Meir and Gabriel and the other people that have made this event possible. As one who used to organize these events in New York, I know the great amount of detail and work that has to go into it. And it's good to see that Rav Binyamin and Talia have not been forgotten in Israel and New York and around the world where these memorials are being conducted. As we know, Binyamin Kahane, Hashem Yikom Damo, was not one who was into these type of memorials and plaques and talking and blah blah, nor was his father. They were people of action. They were Jews of action who believed in memorializing somebody in as much as perpetuating their memory, carrying out their wishes, fulfilling the Torah and doing what we need to do to save Jewish lives and to hasten redemption. And therefore, I want to speak today about the perspective of the Jewish idea, a small shiur in 6 or 7 or 8 minutes that we have, but a small shiur in what is the Jewish way, the Kahane way, the Torah perspective in addressing the election of Donald Trump, the president-elect. What is the perspective of the Jewish idea? In the yeshiva, Rabbi Kahane's yeshiva, we used to have a special class called Lilmod et Ha'aton, to learn the newspaper. Because, you know, the Gemara says in Masechet Yevamot that everything that happens around the world, whether it's natural disasters, whether it's major events, it's all for Israel. It's all for the Jewish people. And we have what to learn from there. We need to learn from these great events to understand how that reflects upon us and what we are supposed to do. Is there something we're supposed to correct so that, God forbid, the natural disaster doesn't hit Israel? Or is there something that special that we're supposed to do? Is there a special opportunity that we now have? And as we know, everybody has the freedom to choose their destiny. That's true for individuals and that's true for a nation. If you do the right thing, then you are blessed. If you do the mitzvah and you follow the Torah, then you are blessed in this world and in the world to come. And if you don't, then you are punished. And that is the perspective of Judaism. There is a God in the world, then there is reward and punishment for our actions. And the same is true for nations. Nations can be good nations and do the right thing. How do they do the right thing? By helping the Jewish people, helping the state of Israel, helping Jews. Mivarechecha avarech, like the Torah tells us in Lech Lecha, those that bless Israel will be blessed and those that curse Israel will be cursed. And that's how they determine their fate as nations. And Trump can, in fact, make America great again by doing the right thing for Israel. And if he wants to be saved, and if America wants to be saved in the end of days, they need to do the right thing vis-a-vis Israel and Jewish people. Israel will be saved regardless. Make no mistake. Israel will be saved whether it's Obama or Clinton or Carter or Trump. Whether they do the right thing or the wrong thing or join with the United Nations and the rest of the world to hurt Israel, or whether they do the right thing, whether they do the wrong thing, Israel will be saved. In fact, Israel will be saved when we stand alone, when we are prepared to stand alone, when we do the things that may, in fact, alienate the rest of the world, including Trump. That's fine. Israel will be saved. The question here about Trump is whether America will be saved. Trump needs Israel. I think some of the people in this room might have it wrong. It's not that Israel needs Trump or Israel needs to rely on Trump. The last thing that Israel needs to do is to rely on any Gentile or any nation. We need to rely on God. And then Israel will be saved and Israel will be redeemed if we build the temple and we expel the Arab enemies, the hostile enemies from Israel, and if we allow our soldiers to do that which they need to do and could do to protect Jewish lives and disregard international opinion, then Israel will be saved and Israel will be redeemed, and immediately, if we show faith in God. So the question here is what Trump will do, how he will affect and impact America's future, not Israel's future. So now that we have that straight, Israel will be saved when the Jews do the right thing and show their faith in God. And America will help itself by helping Israel if they decide to do so. And I don't have much time here, so I'm not going to go into the whole Rashi. There's a very interesting Rashi for those of you that want to look it up, by the Brit Ben Abitarim, the special pact that God made with the Jewish people, made with Abraham. When Abraham asked, how do I know that the Jewish people in the end of days will be saved even if they sin? He already understood what would be in the future and the type of Jews that we may have during this time. And God says to Abraham to dissect the animals and to shecht the animals, to kill them and to put them one side of the animal against the other side of the animals, and also to bring a bird, but the bird represents the dove, the Jewish people. That he doesn't kill, but he kills the animals and one faces the other, kind of like Islam facing the Christian or Western world today. And Rashi says that this represents the end of days. And there's an eagle that hovers above, the Torah tells us. A vulture or an eagle, it's the same, comes from the same family of bird. And the eagle wants to rip at the nations. So there's the dove, there's the Jewish people, and Abraham, that represents the Jewish people, and there's the nations of the world that have been destroyed, and now they're dissected, and one part of the animals against the other part that represents the nations. And there is this eagle that hovers above, or this vulture that hovers above, and it says, Rashi says there, that Abraham sends the eagle away. And then, because Mashiach ben David wants to come, and he wants to finalize the redemption of the Jewish people, and after that there'll be no servitude and there'll be no bondage for the Jews. And God says that won't happen until the eagle is sent away. And many people understood that until now to mean that when the Jewish people in Israel have the courage and the faith to say no to America and to disregard their dictates concerning settlements and freezing settlements and annexing the territories and our treatment of all the Arab enemies here and so on and so forth, when we have the courage and the faith to do that, then Mashiach will come, because that faith brings redemption. But now with Trump being elected, and by the way, Donald in Gematria is Ha'ayit, is the eagle, and now there's also a different way to understand the pasuk, and there are commentaries that in fact understand it this way, to mean that we send the eagle away to spare the eagle. Just like Lot, and Ayid and Lot come from the same root. Just like Lot was sent away and he was spared, he wasn't destroyed with stone, so too this Ayid can be sent away in the end of days and spared. So some understand it to mean that the Ayid will be like the nations of the world, we send them all away, we kill them, they all die in Gog and Magog, and the Jewish people are saved, the day of vengeance comes, just like when we left Egypt and we had the 10 plagues. But others understand it to mean that he's sent away and then he has a special fate. So in fact, Donald Trump, Ha'ayit, has the ability to choose the right way, and based on his promises before elections, that may very well be the case. And if so, he'll be sent away so that the Jewish people can stand alone. He'll be saved so that the Jewish people can stand alone. Everyone will understand that it's God's victory and have faith in God at the end of days. Or if he does the wrong thing, then his fate will be like the rest of the nations, who will be destroyed in the war of Gog and Magog. So that's his choice, but make no mistake, regardless, the Jewish people will be victorious, regardless, we will be redeemed, regardless of what Trump or Obama or the United Nations says or does. If they want to save themselves and have a special role in time of redemption, b'vakasha, they have that opportunity. And then God and Israel will be behind them all the way. For those of you that are here, so we know what Israel has to do and what America has to do if they want to be blessed. What do the Jews in this room have to do? You say you're a Kahanist, you've come here today, so obviously you are. Come to Israel, simple. 3 words, come to Israel. That's what Binyamin Kahane preached, that's what Rabbi Kahane preached. You can find a million excuses, how bad Israel is, how bad the government is, how bad. But that's what Rabbi Kahane preached. And that's what Binyamin Kahane preached, to come home to Israel. And if you come home soon, we're having a big Shabbaton in about a month and a half, the Kahane Shabbat, and feel free to join us.